Good morning, everybody. Welcome to October Daily, October 2nd. My Halloween journal is all about Morgan le Fay this year, and I am so excited at what I have already learned. There is a free sheet that you can download and print out. It's on my website. Feel free to cut images from it or this information and use it, or just fold it up and keep it like an e-zine. You can tuck it into your Halloween journal. I'm learning so much about Morgan le Fay. I'm also learning that there's a lot to learn. Let me close this again. This is the introductory page, and we worked on it a little bit yesterday. I love the way this card turned out. I'm probably going to add some more to the outside of this, maybe even a beautiful image of her that's printed on fabric or something like that, maybe a door of some kind, like a locket or something that has her picture inside. And this, I don't know what I was thinking when I put this on here, but it's a beautiful cameo charm. I mean, it's inexpensive, but that could be Morgan right on the front. The beautiful card we did yesterday, we've got the wax seal. I can write on the back of that. It tucks right into this pocket, and it just turned out perfectly as far as the amount of space. I wanted to use this tiny little tag that is in the sheet of cutouts. The name Morgan le Fay means literally Morgan the Fairy. And I had purchased not too long ago some little wood samples. This says figured maple. And I just cut a piece out to go on the back of this tag to give it some structure, make it a little bit stronger. Love the way that turned out. I started to just pin it to the front, but I always do that. I thought I'm going to do something different this time. I sewed a little pocket from some beautiful trim that I have. This came off of a garment, and just, stitched around the edge really simply. I used this carpet and button thread. It's really strong, it's thick, I love using it, and I usually leave a piece hanging down and then I can put some beads on it. And these are just so pretty. I ended up having an M for Morgan. The star, of course, is very symbolic. And we have this, it looks like, I think that's a piece of jasper, a little stone, which she probably would have been familiar with, different stones and plants and things like that. And then just some beautiful glass beads. On the side is a list of names that Morgan has been called. It's just a variation of Morgan, each one of these names. You can cut this out and use it like it is, and I may still do that. But for now, I just took a white jelly roll pen and wrote on this black paint all of the different names. I think I had too much paint in this spot, and it kind of didn't take there, but that's all right. And you can just keep adding. You can write them over and over again. That's the way I chose to use that. And then I had put her name on here in this beautiful font. I cut that out and distressed the edges. I made a little pocket from the paper that I had stained with pokeberries. And then I cut out Morgan of Avalon, which is on the purple background. And I just glued a piece of fabric to the back. And that was in a recent fabric pack that I had, this fabric with the leaves, which is really pretty for fall. So I just glued that on the back and then flipped it under so you can see both sides, or you can see the fabric on both sides. We may come back and do more to this page. You know how I like to do things. Oh, one thing I did do differently, when I glued this strip of paper down, I tucked it all the way under the first signature. And, we can put a little bit of glue on that to make that stick. I just didn't want it to be ragged right here. Oops. Sorry, Morgan. I love this card. That's one of my favorite things so far. So turning this page, I knew I wanted to have trim on every page as well. So I sewed that into place, and then on the other side, we have a piece from a beautiful Indian garment. And of course, that ties in with everything she's wearing here. I imagine she would have had an array of robes and maybe animal skins. I don't know. There's definitely a leopard skin on her in this picture. All sorts of things. I feel like she just would have been surrounded by beautiful, tactile things that served all sorts of purposes, whether it was clothing or comfort or just to have around her where she lived. So this was just a page in the journal. I did splatter some black paint here. I painted this page black and then put the napkin over it. This is a napkin from the Dollar Tree. Love the mushroom here and the text. I might need to distress that little sticker a bit. I thought I had done that, but maybe it didn't really take. Anyway, let's just, I don't know. I can't decide if I want to leave it alone or... Ooh, I like that. Even just the tiniest bit. Yeah, that's better. We'll just let that dry. And then for October 2nd, we have this informational card, which talks about Morgan le Fay's first appearance in documented literature. And 1150, I believe, I have that date right. Morgan, and it was spelled M-O-R-G-E-N. Morgan is her name, and she has learned what useful properties all the herbs contain so that she can cure sick bodies. She also knows an art by which to change her shape and to cleave the air on new wings like Daedalus. When she wishes, she is at Brest, Chartres, or Pavia, and when she will, she slips down from the air onto your shores. And that is from Vita Merlini. Really beautiful words. So who is Morgan le Fay? She is a sorceress who started out in this reference as somebody really good, an ally of King Arthur. When King Arthur was wounded, they took him to where she lived, which was Avalon. And that's why we have this little tag that says Morgan of Avalon. She lived there with 8 sisters, so there were 9 ladies on Avalon, and they were healers, they were smart. Apparently, Morgan had taught mathematics to her sisters, and Morgan was the most powerful of the sisters. Over time, however, Morgan evolved in different versions of, you know, this legend or myth or tale or whatever you want to call it. She evolved into a more evil character, and she is most often seen today as an evil character. Somebody who is... can be good or evil, somebody who is, her sexuality changed, she became more promiscuous, more daring, and I like this older version of Morgan. I like to think of her as a healer. The place where she's from, Avalon, sounds absolutely beautiful, and there will be some pages dedicated to that. It says, the island of apples, which men call the Fortunate Isle, gets its name from the fact that it produces all things of itself. The fields there have no need of the plows of the farmers, and all cultivation is lacking except what nature provides. Of its own accord it produces grain and grapes, and apple trees grow in its woods from the close-clipped grass. The ground of its own accord produces everything instead of merely grass, and people live there 100 years or more. Doesn't that sound wonderful? It's like a Garden of Eden, and maybe it is a reference to Eden. There are so many different places and people and stories and myths that any of these parts of the story of Morgan le Fay could have come from. So it's really, really interesting. It's one of those things that I think for a little bit or for a while, it seems like the more you learn, the less you know. And I just think, wow, how much studying a person would have to do to really be a scholar, an expert when it comes to this legend of Morgan le Fay. And what else did we do? We have, I'm going to date every page, and I'm definitely doing a spread for each day, because if I just do one page, we're going to have so much space left at the end, and I really want to fill this up. I splattered some of the purple distress ink on here, and also some of my coffee, / tea mixture that I keep out here, whatever it happens to be at the time. I'm still going to add some trim, again, to each page. I've been collecting for that. I love this journal so far. I love the purple. I love the black. I love the rich colors, even the green, because it fits here. And I'm going to stop for now. This is October 2nd, and please stay tuned. We have so much more to do, and it's all built up around beautiful Morgan. We will learn more about her spells, the plants, the people. Oh my goodness, the people. So Jennifer, no wonder you mentioned her parents in the Facebook group. I'm so overwhelmed by all the different versions of her family. No wonder she made potions. Anyway, stay tuned and we will have more to come. Bye for now.